Yeah.
Oh.
Call the meeting to order. Pursuant to first, hello, everybody. Sorry. I just dive right in. But so happy to see everybody here today. Now I will start. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, public notice of this meeting has been given by the board secretary in the following manner. Posting written notice on the official bulletin board at the Voorhees Township Public Schools Administrative Building on July 6, 2022. Sending written notice to the Courier Post on July 6, 2022. Filing written notice with the clerk of Voorhees Township on July 6, 2022, and posting on the Voorhees Township website on July 6, 2022. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the board secretary do the roll call?
Mr. Bryce,
Here.
Mrs. Cosenza,
Here.
Dr. Fall,
Here.
Ms. Galliano,
Here.
Ms. Ketover,
Here.
Dr. Levy,
Here.
Mr. Schmooss,
Here.
Mrs. Stupler,
Here.
Mrs. Watson.
Here. Before I get into the agenda, I wanted to say a couple of things. First, I want to welcome the Schmooss family who's here tonight. This is difficult. I'm going to try and get through it without getting emotional. So I apologize, but I'm going to read what I wrote. I wish I could speak off the cuff, but I won't be able to say all the things that I've been thinking. So great is the art of beginning, but greater is the art of ending. When I joined the board nearly 4 years ago, John welcomed me immediately. He offered to sit and talk. He was always someone I felt comfortable asking all the questions to. Can I speak now? Can I ask questions? Why do we do it this way? He always showed me such patience, kindness, and grace. As time went on, I watched him. He does not speak out often or argue. He is not banging any drums or making any scenes. He is, as the kids say, drama-free. But do not mistake his gentle, kind, and quiet nature for weakness. He has strong opinions. He is a thoughtful decision maker. He is pragmatic and smart. He taught me that we can share our different opinions and fight on an issue out in it. We can fight an issue out in private, but that when we vote, win or lose, we must come together and be a unified board. He taught me so many wonderful things about being a leader. I was honored and surprised when he took over as vice president. I got to see just how brilliant he was. He is someone I could confide in and debate things with. He is someone I trust and can always count on. John Schmooss, you are a king among mere mortals. It was a privilege to work beside you, an honor to learn from you. You will always be my dear friend, and your absence will be felt greatly. Thank you for volunteering and selflessly serving this community for over 36 years. We are stronger because of you. I'm sure there will be more words later, but one of the perks of being the president is I can do whatever I want. So I just wanted to make sure that we paid, and we do have another board member that's going to be leaving us, but we'll talk a little bit more about Dana and Dr. Falk in a little bit. Okay, so let's get to the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of October 19th, 2022?
So move.
I'll second that.
Online voting is open. Mr. Bryce abstained. Everyone else voted yes. Motion carries.
We have 3 items under information: fire drills and safety drills as shown on the attachment, the HIB report, and the suspensions. We had 3 Oprah requests, I believe, yes, they are all closed, and have been responded to. Board Secretary report.
Thank you. On the secretary's report, we have administration building phone system paging feature upgrade. This building is going to be, the phone system will be upgraded in order to have us be able to page throughout the building. Right now, we don't have a means to contact everyone at the same time. So we're upgrading the system to be able to do that like is done at the schools. The other thing I wanted to add under this section is that we did upload our PEA application for the next year for preschool expansion for the 23-24 year. And we had meetings with with providers, potential providers, and we have added 6 providers, which will allow us to have 305 students next year, which is really amazing. Our universe is about 500, so it's pretty amazing to go up to 300 in only year 2. So again, that's in the state's hands now to be reviewed, and once it's approved, we'll move forward. There's an item on the agenda approving that submission.
Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. So good evening, Voorhees Township community members and stakeholders. I hope that everyone is doing well this evening. I want to acknowledge our principal representative here this evening, Mr. Kramer, from our principal of Osage. And I had the privilege of going by Osage today and watch Mr. Kramer serve Thanksgiving meals to his students during lunchtime. He was actually behind the counter in the cafeteria serving his students. So I just want to publicly acknowledge you and tell you that that is what it's all about to be a service leader. So thank you so much for that example that you set today. And thank you for representing our principals tonight. Again, we have one principal attend every board meeting. So at this time, I'd like to respond to some questions that were posed at the October board meeting. One of the issues that came to light at the October board meeting was that there was this teacher at the middle school who told the students that he or she could no longer focus on current events. I did speak to the principal spoke to the teacher, and the teacher was referring to one issue that was a non-instructional issue, and he thought that that matter would be best addressed with the guidance department. Okay, so we have not told anyone that they cannot discuss current events in our schools. Diwali as a holiday, Dr. Young and I met with the second person from the Indian community, and we are continuing to conduct research into this matter. At the October board meeting, I stated that Eastern does not have Diwali on its calendar, and the only area schools that district that's recognizing Diwali is Cherry Hill. I was advised after the board meeting that the New York City public schools did recognize Diwali this year. New York City public schools was not part of the research that we conducted for area schools, so I was not aware of that. I can tell you that the area schools such as Eastern, Berlin, and Ginsborough are not recognizing it, at least at this year. We are still conducting research, and I will provide a response about the holiday after we conduct a thorough research. No decision has been made at this point. We are still conducting research. It was mentioned at the last board meeting that for the last 2 years, the district calendar no longer includes the reason why we are out of school. After conducting research, there has been no reason on the school district calendar since the 2015-16 school year. So it's been quite a few years. Moving forward, we will indicate the reasons why the district is closed on our next calendar. I believe this will provide an educational opportunity for our families in regards to the various holidays and observances. So we will add the reason why schools are closed in next year's calendar. Also, we will not have a board meeting on family night. We'll make sure we don't schedule that next year. At the last board meeting, someone came up and indicated that we should have instructional associates in more of our classrooms, and that the person was aware that there were other districts that used instructional associates for classes of mixed ability academic level students. After each meeting, by the way, I do email personally anyone who came up and made a concern. I do email them personally and give them a response. This is just for the entire community. I did email that person and ask him or her to submit to me the school districts that they were referencing, because my research did not indicate that schools are using instructional associates for classes that just have different academic ability levels. I did not hear from that person, but if I do, I will most definitely conduct research. So in Voorhees, we do use instructional associates for all of our preschool classrooms. They are required, and we use them in our special education classrooms according to code. We do not use instructional associates in classes because there are different ability levels. Instead, we are focusing on small group instruction to meet the needs of classes that have different ability levels. And as a superintendent, I do evaluate teachers. I'm evaluating, I believe, 12 teachers this year. I've completed 3, and I'm proud to tell you that we are seeing the great effects of small group instruction in the classroom to meet the various learning needs of students. I just completed an evaluation today, actually. So we are seeing what we need to see to help our teachers meet the different ability levels in their classroom. And an instructional associate, in my opinion, is not the answer. It's professional development and support and coaching for our teachers. So I just want to bring that to your attention. It also was mentioned that our CER program, that we want to see more in our CER programs such as coding, sports, arts and crafts, debate, and chess programs. I met with Director Redfern on October 24th and visited the CER program at Signal Hill on November the 1st. I chose Signal Hill because it's the largest CER program in the district. The program is from 3:30 to 5:30. It's for K-5 students. There are 6 high school students assigned at Signal Hill and 2 adult supervisors. Parents pay $5 per hour. Students complete homework assignments and engage in indoor and outdoor activities. So a typical schedule is from 3:30 to 4, there's a check-in where students can talk in small groups, work on their iPads, and play games while attendance is being taken. From 4 to 4:45, they have choice time. They can go outside and play, they can go in the gymnasium, arts and crafts, toys, and games. From 4:45 to 5:15, that's when they do their snack, and they can do homework as well. And then at 5:15, they prepare for dismissal. So if we were to put certified teachers in order to implement the recommendations that were given, we would first have to hire teachers, and we'd have to have the interest of teachers to work in the program. And definitely the cost of the program would increase because we have to cover the cost of the certified teachers. But I do want to mention that the CER program does run 2 4-week Saturday programs. So twice a year, the Saturday program for 4 weeks. And within that program are certified teachers, and the suggestions given last month are incorporated into those programs. So we do have a program that has all those kind of components that were mentioned, but it's in the Saturday program where we can have certified teachers. There was a question asked of, does Voorhees, Gibbsburg, and Berlin coordinate? And the answer to that question, which I did email the person who asked it, is yes. We meet 5 times a year, and we discuss things like coordinating programs, coordinating our calendar, and we're actually now working on kind of coordinating advanced math options for our students. So yes, we do coordinate with our neighboring districts. And an update on the diversity audit. We are continuing to vet possible vendors for our diversity audit, and we plan to make a recommendation at the first public January meeting. And for my announcements for this board meeting, we're going to have a parent virtual workshop on December the 8th. This is our 4th parent workshop, so I hope you can join us. And it's from 6 to 7 p.m. And the title is Navigating Social Media. So that should be a very interesting one. And the presenters are our middle school staff, Ms. Calabria, the principal, Ms. Holloway, assistant principal, Mr. Winsett, assistant principal, and Sherry Kaufman, our technology specialist. So I hope that you'll be able to join us on December 8th. It's virtual, and it deals with navigating social media. Our board sound system. So we have some good news. Thanks to Mr. Taylor really following up on this. We should have the system installed somewhere between December 28th and December 30th. So hopefully by our reorganization meeting on January 4th, we will have the sound system. So it's been some supply chain issues, but we believe the vendor did tell us that we should have it in time for the January 4th meeting. So we're looking forward to that. I'd like to, while we are still awaiting the official election results to be certified, I'd like to congratulate Julie Ketover, Jacob Rosner, Maureen Rudder, and Julianne Birdie, the individuals who at this point have the top vote count. I'd just like to congratulate them. I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Schluss, who has served the Voorhees Township Board of Education for 36 years. He began serving this community in 1986 as a recent college graduate. In my 11 years as the superintendent of schools, I have never worked with a board member who volunteered their time and service to a school district anytime, anywhere near 36 years. This accomplishment is truly remarkable. The thought of a recent college graduate serving his community and doing so for 36 years is not only amazing, it's encouraging. Mr. Schmus, your story is inspiration and a testament to the value of service. Dr. Martin Luther King once said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Mr. Schmus, you have answered this question for 36 years through your countless hours of volunteering your time and your talent to make a difference in the lives of our students. Your legacy and the impact that you have had on this school community will live on for many generations to come. Thank you for your service and lending your gifts to the district for so many years. I am in awe of you, and it's been a pleasure to work with you. To Ms. Galliano and Dr. Falk, thank you for volunteering your time to serve the community. The responsibilities of a board member are numerous, and I thank both of you for handling these responsibilities in addition to your workplace and family obligations. Thank you for your tireless efforts and your total commitment to the children of Voorhees. I leave you with a quote by the poet Tagore. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted and behold, service was joy. Thank you so much for your support. Thanksgiving is a time that we reflect on how thankful we are for all that has been placed before us. And as a superintendent of schools, I am thankful for the talented and dedicated staff members of the Voorhees Township Public Schools, staff members who sacrifice daily to ensure that our students have the best possible educational experience. This includes teaching great lessons, monitoring the buildings to ensure that students are safe, answering the telephones with a welcoming voice and tone, cleaning the building so that our students are proud of their environment, and purchasing materials for our classrooms. I am thankful for the committed and dedicated Board of Education members who work countless hours to ensure that our students have the best educational experience. I am thankful for our parents who have entrusted our district to provide their children with a quality education. I wish the entire Voorhees Township Public Schools community a Thanksgiving filled with an abundance of joy, peace, and happiness. Thank you.
Policy Committee. Will Dr. Levy please walk us through our recent meeting?
Sure. Thank you, President Watson. The policy committee met earlier this evening. We had one policy to review for second reading. That is 5512, the harassment, intimidation, and bullying policy. In addition to that, because of some recent concerns that have come in front of the board, we also reviewed current policy 9130 and regulation 9130, which are regarding public complaints and grievances. And we reviewed policy 2530 and regulation 2530 for resource materials, which are connected to our current policy number 2200. Upon review of these, we looked at some additional policies of the same numbers from South Orange Maplewood District. We reviewed those and we put together, the committee reviewed some of the revised policies that were presented by Dr. Young for 9130. There was also a new resource material form that will be with the policy. So we're currently making additional revisions to those policies and the forms. And the plan is to hopefully review those and have those ready for our January meeting, the second January meeting, as well as a draft policy for 2530. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Audience participation. Anyone wishing to address the board, please approach the back table and write your name and address on the login sheet. If you are attending via Zoom, please use the raise your hand feature to be acknowledged. While the board is limited in its ability to respond to the public on matters involving personnel, litigation, negotiations, and attorney-client privilege, the board will now hear comments from the public relating to items on the agenda for this board meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. The board will not take action this evening. You will be notified at some later time by letter, electronic mail, telephone, or in the context of a later board meeting of any action the board does take. Seeing no comments, board comments. I'd like to, before I haven't heard anybody say anything yet, but so before my fellow board members speak, I also want to thank first Ms. Galliano for your 6 years on the board. You helped me from the very beginning when I got on the board, and I've loved working with you. I've loved working with you on tons of different committees, and I think we've accomplished so many amazing things. And I think that you were an asset to the district. So thank you so much for your service. And I wish you the best of luck in all of your next adventures. Dr. Falk, haven't been with you as long, but I do value kind of the pragmatic and different perspective that you provided for the board, especially in a time of need during COVID. I think we greatly appreciated kind of your scientific and medical approach to issues, but it was also a very no nonsense and practical approach. And I really do appreciate how you problem solve and come at issues. I find it incredibly unique and refreshing. So thank you very much for your service. And I wish you best of luck as well. Anyone else on the board have comments?
You allowed to have comments during this part? Doesn't pertain to agenda items.
Yeah, come forward.
Then I'll say something. John, I want to thank you for all your years of service. Like Monica, and I won't reiterate everything that she mentioned, you definitely provided me with guidance. I will say this is my 8th year on the board, and for many of those years, I sat next to John at the end of the table, and we had difference of agreements. We had different votes on outcomes of some very important decisions, but we always sat down and said hello to each other and caught up on his kids, my kids, and we always left respecting each other and making sure that we understood why the other person voted the way that they did. You're one of the most collegial people I've worked with on the board, in my job, certainly in my friend circle, and I will always appreciate the tone that you set for my service on this board. Thank you very much. Dana, it's been wonderful working with you on the policy committee. And also many of the agenda items that you brought to our attention have been enriched by the fact that your kids have been in the district. And I think when I first started on the board, that was not the case. I think I was the only person. There were 2 of us at that time who actually had kids in the district. And so it was really refreshing when someone else came on the board who had kids in the district so that they could, also advocate for things that they were hearing about in the schools. So I really do appreciate your work on the board, and I wish you the best. And Dr. Falk, thank you for your guidance during COVID. I also will appreciate all of that science-based information you shared with us. Monica?
I'm sorry, Randy had her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you not want to speak?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
do. I do. I just didn't know what this is. Okay. So before I honor everybody, I just wanted to highlight a few things to echo Dr. Hackett. Last night, we had a phenomenal program in the community. Unfortunately, the turnout was really, disappointing for such a dynamic and informative speaker. And it's so important to learn more about the topics that were covered last night. I can say I was there and I thought it was, fascinating and informative. And everybody really missed a great speaker. So thank you, Dr. Hackett, for setting that up. I think the weather maybe impacted people. I'm not sure. And also in echo of your social media, we did a program with the 8th grade at VMS a few weeks ago on internet hate for the entire 8th grade through the Simon Wiesenthal Center out in California. So it was done on Zoom and social studies classes, and it was very well received, and it was a a community-based program. I know they did an education with the teachers, parents, and we didn't have a great turnout for that either, and the students. And so far, the feedback has been, I think, very good. It's from what I went on the parent, even though I don't have an 8th grader, and it was very frightening to see how our kids could be targeted in any aspect on the internet. So it was, very eye-opening to me also. And I do encourage people also to come to Dr. Hackett's roundtables. Last time there's only 3 of us that showed up. But she kept us for an hour and we had great discussion, and she was more than happy to spend the time with the few of us that were there. So it is really great. And I wanted to thank John and Dana for all their dedication and hard work. When I just got here tonight, I said, we should have done a comparison on Voorhees today and Voorhees 36 years ago of when he started on the board. And there's a different amount of schools, students, everything, and the amount of change that John saw in his 36 years. I can't even imagine. Now we're iPad-based district to, all the change that went on. And Dana for her 6 years, I'm sorry. And I thought the best way to honor both of them was I made a donation in both their honors to an organization that I work with. It's called Bookmates. And through my donation, it provides age-appropriate books for underprivileged kids in our local community and three of our local counties. And we have more than 300 volunteers going in and reading with these kids and teaching with these kids. And it's just a great resource. So this way, their names will leave a legacy for kids. Our kids in Voorhees are so fortunate. So this way we can give back, and both their names will live on, and these kids will benefit from all their service and dedication to the community.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
thank you. So this way, we're so fortunate here in Voorhees. So just a way to pay it forward and give back a little bit. And it is a wonderful organization. So anyway, that's it. So thank you, both of you, for all your time and dedication.
I'll be quick, I promise.
I'll go here.
I just wanted to thank Dana Galliano. Dana, you have a heart of gold. I've seen you volunteer for at least 10 years inside the school district and outside of the school district. Whether it's in the community or surrounding communities, I've seen you participate in food drives at Thanksgiving, try to help the homeless. Not everyone knows you like I do, but I've seen you do all of these things, whether there's someone in the community who is ill or in need. I've seen you participate, contribute, run to any person that you thought that was in need of something that you could help out with. So I think you have a heart of gold, and I really appreciate everything that you've done for the schools, on the board and off of the board. And John, thank you so much for your guidance. You really are a stand-up guy, a true gentleman, and you've helped me so much. And I have enjoyed getting to know you and talking to you on a personal level and also on a board level. So I thank you for everything. Scott, I'm gonna really miss you. I call you my table mate behind your back. My table mate. When it's hard when you sit up here, you get stressed out and you have all these feelings and things are going through your head. But I always have Scott to depend on to, talk out either situations that are happening while we're up here or even hard situations that we're going through when we're in executive session or, during the weeks in between the meetings. So I really appreciate you. I think all 3 of you are great people. So you're really, truly going to be there.
I would take the time to thank John for his service and all of my craziness at the beginning of when I first joined the board, of not knowing sort of like what Monica said, when you can talk, when you can't talk. And just being able to not, agree to disagree, but still at the end of the day, be friends. And also just, you always picked up the phone and I called you or called you back. So I really appreciate working with you. And 36 years is a long time, so.
You're not even that old, are
But anyway, I wanted to thank you all. This is next to you, but we're both gonna be on. So. And Scott, thank you. It was very good to having you on the board, especially during COVID. We really needed medical advice as well as other things, but we really, really needed it. So thank you for being patient with us and explaining things to us. And I mean, it meant a lot because I know that during that time you could have been with patients and you took time out of your busy schedule to be with the board. So thank you.
Ms. Watson?
All right, can I, oh, sorry. I think
Go ahead, Dr. Falk, and then Mr. Bryce.
So, Dana, thank you for your service. It's been a true pleasure working with you on the board. It's, I feel like you always have a tremendous amount of insight about what our educators and what our students are going through. And you bring that to all of the meetings and you bring that to all of the decisions. So thank you for your service. John, it's hard to put into words, all of the thoughts that I have about you and the amount of service that you've provided this community with. And, oftentimes when you're sitting around a conference table, the person who's the quietest and who's doing all of the listening is the real leader. And I think that oftentimes when we're in executive session or when we're having deep discussions about directions and strategies for the district, you're often quiet and taking everything in until you make the most pragmatic decision and that helps guide the entire board in the right direction. So you've been a true role model for me for my time on the board. And I think also in life as I grow and learn, to be able to model your behaviors has been tremendous. So thank you.
Mr. Bryce?
Yes, thank you, Ms. President. I just want to thank the three board members, Ms. Galliano, Dr. Falk, and Mr. Smoops. Thank you for allowing me to be able to witness your talent and your treasures that you share with the community. Your voices is what makes you so powerful. Ms. Galliano, my fellow Gemini twin. Thank you. We share the same birthday. Well, yeah,
Wow. We
but,
should see.
I do thank you. Your voice is so caring, concerning, yet so determined. So I thank you for allowing me to experience that. Dr. Falk, he's a fellow Long Islander. So I thank you for your voice that's so calculated and scientific, yet so relatable and purposeful. And Mr. Smooths, I just thank you in general. Mr. Smooths came to one of my son's game, and that really touched me, that he said he wanted to come see my son play, and he came and saw my son play. And I just thank you for just sharing your heart for 36 years, allowing me to be able to experience that, allowing me to get to know you, not just on a board level, but on a personal level. And congratulations to your Phillies. They did make it. So congratulations.
They didn't play wasn't the Yankees they played, right?
And even though I still won't take my words back. Won't change me. But listen, seriously, thank you guys, seriously, for allowing me to experience your greatness. Thank you.
Mrs. Watson, I'd like to also. Yes. Dana, thank you for your service. I've known your kids for a long time. I know how much you care and how much you're invested in them and in all of the kids. Your passion has always been very evident, and I appreciate it. Dr. Falk, I appreciate your mind, your pragmatism, your measured approach. I was not on the board during COVID, but I attended all of the COVID meetings and the board. I can only imagine the stress that this board, the body, was under during that time. And I, as a parent and community member, so appreciated your approach to the problems and your even-keeled way of looking at the issues. So thank you. John, in the short time we've worked together, so that's my biggest complaint right now, is that it's been too short. So thanks for that. No, that's okay. 36 years is nothing to scoff about. It's admirable. It's honorable. Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you.
You're fine. I'm really in awe of your dedication. The thought of being post-college and being on a Board of Education is such a foreign concept to me. And I really want to applaud your immediate knowing that you wanted to be of service and sticking it out for as long as you have. You are a generous, kind, measured, steadfast leader. And you set such a wonderful tone, and you have such an unequaled institutional knowledge about the workings of this district. So in the short time I've been your colleague, I've been privileged to be a mentee, and I thank you for that, and we will miss you.
Okay, moving on to transportation. Can I get a motion to approve all of the items under transportation?
So moved.
Second?
Online voting is open. Motion unanimously passes. I'm closing the voting. Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve all of the items under policy?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Online voting is open. The motion unanimously passes. I'm closing the online voting.
Can I get a motion to approve all of the items under personnel?
So move.
Second?
Online voting is open. The motion unanimously passes.
There are no items under deferred action. Can I get a motion to approve the items, all of the items under new business?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Online voting is open. The motion unanimously passes.
The next board meeting will be on January 4th, 2023. It will be the board reorganization meeting where we will swear in the new board members. Audience participation. Anyone wishing to address the board, please approach the back table and write your name and address on the login sheet. If you are attending via Zoom, please use the raise your hand feature to be acknowledged. While the board is limited in its ability to respond to the public on matters involving personnel litigation, negotiations, and attorney-client privilege, the board will now hear comments from the public. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. The board will not take action this evening. You will be notified at some later time by letter, electronic mail, telephone, or in the context of a later board meeting of any action the board does take.
Hi, I'm Barbara Andrew. I've also been in this district a very long time. I've seen a bunch of faces change on this board, but there's one face that has not changed in all of my years. I've also been lucky enough, excuse my voice, I've been lucky enough to know the Schmooze family because I taught both Allie and Katie. And it's tough to be a teacher, a young teacher, teaching a board member's child. And I have to say, it was never about John's kids. It was always about all of the kids in Voorhees for all of my years here. And many of you commented about how easy it is to approach John and have conversation, get insight. He's always been that person for me as well. I've also been lucky enough to know John's mom, Mary, who, and one of my reasons for standing up tonight, Mary and I worked together when I was a classroom teacher at Hamilton School for many, many years, and she is a dear, dear friend. I know how proud John's family is of him, but John, I want you to know that in my heart, I can represent your mom in saying that you come from a family of service, whether your dad's doing the chains at the football games or, right? You come from a family of service, and someone mentioned how quiet a leader is. Your mother was one of the best leaders I could have ever known, and you are her. You've always given all of yourself. She would be so proud. Your family is just very dear to my heart, and thank you. Thank you for all of your years. And it's kind of nice that you're going before me. It would have been nice to have someone stand up there that knew me so well. So I'm so happy to be able to say something nice about you. And I want you to know that it's very much heartfelt. And thank you.
Almost made it through.
I want to start off by thanking all three board members, regardless of your length of time. It's 1 year to 36 years. Special thanks to their families, because anybody who knows if you're a board member, it's a sacrifice on your family, the amount of time and stress you have to put in. Mr. Smooster remembers when board meetings used to only take 5 minutes. His first couple of years, he got a pass. But in all honesty, thank you to all three and current ones too. Wanted to chime on a couple of things. We wanted to thank Mr. Mann. Mr. Mann comes to our school at Osage, brings a 25-foot American flag to talk about Veterans Day. He does that with a lot of our gym classes, and they look forward to it. And he did it when my daughters were there, so he comes back on his time also to give back, especially to remember Veterans Day. Wanted to special thank our Thanksgiving feast today. Was phenomenal. It was great to get back to that. The cafeteria staff made it special. The kids were super excited. Staff fed kids, parents were there. Mr. Kramer helped pass out things. It was just a way of giving back. Third, we have somebody retiring, coworker of mine, TWP Lorenza, 26 years teaching, 20 some plus years in the district. She's going to retire and spend time with her family, well deserved, and one of the most dedicated mothers you've ever seen. So I wanted to send a special thanks to her.
Thank you.
Hi, I also want to echo I don't know if anyone missed the workshop or got the email about it. It was phenomenal. I agree. I gained so much information. I went in expecting to know everything and turned out knew a lot less than I thought. So thank you guys for hosting that. I hope more friends and more opportunities come up. And any workshops, if you get the chance to go to any of them, if they're anything like this, blown away. Thank you guys. Thank you.
I just wanted to congratulate, well, not congratulate, but give my heartfelt thanks to your service on the board. I know it's a volunteer position and it's not easy, so thank you so much. And to congratulate the new board members that will be instilled. I did want to ask if a revote on the book policy could be done, considering the new policy is potentially in place.
I've met with Dr. Hackett. I'm very vocal about the fact that I was very unhappy with the book being removed. So if that could be something we could look into, I would be thrilled. I know several other people I've spoken with would also be thrilled. Thanks.
Comments from the board?
I'm gonna attempt to read this letter. Bear with me. I wanted to write a thank you letter. It's not gonna be easy. To everyone who has been a part of the Voorhees Public Schools for the last 36 years. During which time I've had the honor of serving as a board member. In 1986, as a new college graduate, before I had a family of my own, I think I'm just gonna say thank you for everything. I apologize.
No, please.
Thank you for allowing me to serve.
Do I have to continue? Can I get a motion to approve all of the items under finance?
So moved.
Second.
Online voting is open.
So far. Just kill me. I had a chance there.
The motion unanimously passes.
The board will be going into executive session. It should be relatively short. I was promised 15 minutes or less. We will not be taking action afterwards, but I do have to read the public content. Be it resolved that pursuant to Section 8 of the Open Publics Meeting Act, the public shall be excluded from that portion of the meeting involving discussion of matters involving the attorney-client privilege and matters involving the purchase, lease, or acquisition of real property. Further resolved that the discussion of such matter in executive session can be disclosed to the public at such time the board does take formal action. Again, we will not be taking formal action tonight. Further resolved that the board may be in executive session for no more than 15 minutes. I'm studying a clock. And no, again, no action will be taken when we return from public session. Can I get a motion to adjourn to executive session?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Back on.
Changing the clocks really screws everything.
That's gonna, okay, we're gonna
I know.
come back into action. Can I get a motion to return to the public meeting?
So move.
A second?
Second.
Online voting is open.
Oh, gosh. I know. I'd like you to put mine in or no?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay, thank you.
You want yes?
Yes, please.
A motion unanimously, Ms. Cadover?
Yep, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm slow with the.
No problem. Motion unanimously passes.
I apologize for the extra, how many more minutes? 7 to 10 minutes. I will take ownership of that. So there were a couple of questions and we needed a recent update. But thank you all for staying. I think it is time to adjourn. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
John should.
John, you
Yes.
should do
I
that.
will make that motion.
Oh.
You should say that.
I second.
I do.
Okay, we're gonna open the voting. We'll let it go one by one.
Did you ask me?
I should read my.
Oh, you were that one.
And I think as we do the nurses, he deserves a clap out.
That's a yes for me, Helen.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
I think that's a yes for me also.
Okay, I will do it.
Got out.
Okay. Dr. Lee, okay. Motion unanimously passes to adjourn the meeting.
You get back there right back.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
I can't get out of the building without turning
No,
the
we do.
iPad.